Hey, it's Jane. How you doing? I keep opening with that. It's been a while. Cause not that much to report now. I mean, I'm pretty much healed basically. Um, I would say there really hasn't been any substantive changes in the last 2 weeks. Not that I can really notice. Um, So where was I 2 weeks ago? Um, so everything is healed, obviously. Um, and I've talked in the past about down at the very bottom and the V at the very bottom, how that I had opened that, broken all the stitches and opened it wide open, and so that took a while to heal. So that is down to the point where there is just this one ridge of scar tissue that's like a kind of pointy like that, like it's curved on the top, and it's like it's squished thin, and it's white along the top edge. So it's the kind of scar tissue you don't want to get, and obviously it's very stiff. The whole thing is rather stiff, but I genuinely feel like I can't explicitly say that it's shrunk at all in the last 2 weeks, but I do kind of feel like it has shrunk overall from what was there before, say, a month ago. So I think it is in the process of starting to shrink away. So yeah, we'll just see. I've been applying vitamin E oil to it because there's nothing exposed. Like there's no like open. There's no skin area that's like unhappy, like granulated tissue or anything like that. There's nothing that is weeping in any way, or it's just this little ridge of white stuff that is basically just scar tissue that I believe is reducing in size slowly, but is reducing in size. So because there's no, like I have examined very very closely, and because it looks like there's nothing open whatsoever, not even slightly, not even like uh, even mildly weeping tissue, I'm putting vitamin E oil directly on it. I find my skin responds very well. So like if I have a raised scar or something like that, or from a like a cut, like a deep cut, vitamin E oil tends to flatten it out very quickly. So I've been applying vitamin E oil to it, and hopefully it'll go away, and it'll soften up, and then there won't be any need for any kind of revision at some point. But at the 1 year mark, we'll wait and see. And if I do feel like that very bottom bit needs just a little tiny revision to just kind of have softer tissue at the very bottom, then I'll look into it. But yeah, other than that, I am absolutely 100% healed. And literally, this is just stretching exercises going forward. So I'm in the middle of my 2 month, 3 times a day period. So January and February are 3 times a day, um, and yeah. And in fact, I mean, I don't think it's going to get any deeper. I don't think the cavity is going to get any deeper, but it's actually impressively deep. I'm actually quite happy with how deep it is. I don't think I would really need any more depth. So that's a good thing. So to show you, so this is the 36 millimeter dilator that I'm using, right? And it it sticks out about that far. So let's see if we get this. See where my thumb, the blue of my thumbnail is? That's where that's how much is sticking out. And when I measure that, it's like just over 5.5 inches, which is, that's not bad. And then with the 41, which is what it was very big at the time, it fits no problem now. And when I measure it and then compare it to what the depth I get with this one, because obviously being bigger around, I'm going to get less depth. But I only lose about a half inch of depth with this maximal, outside diameter. And with Big Red, you can't even measure with that because it's a very soft latex on the outside and then a firmer latex on the inside. So like it squishes and deforms. So there's no practical way of measuring, what's going on. Because when you push it in firmly, there's a certain amount of, squishing. It shortens a little bit, right? Whereas these things are hard plastic, so they don't, they can't be compressed. So yeah, good. I'm happy with the depth. I would say the skin on the inside of the outer suture lines, that skin, I started noticing tingliness about 2 weeks ago, I think. And I would say right now I have some sensation in the skin, and I would say it's probably like 20 to 25% the amount of sensation that's on the outside of the suture lines. So, that's from 2 weeks. So 2 weeks ago, I was just barely able to sense a tingliness, and now I can get, it's kind of like a half tingly, half normal skin sensation that's about 20-25% as intense of the skin that's on the outside of the suture line. So, I think that's quite good progress in the course of a couple weeks. So, I doubt it's linear. So, it's probably going to be one of this, probably on a negative logarithmic. It's not linear. I'm sure of it. But yeah, starting to get sensation there, which is fantastic. I don't have any sensation internally. I don't know if I ever will. Some claim that they do, some claim that they never did. I don't know. No idea. My clitoris works fine. Tested it a few times. It works good. At least that part is fine. Let's see what else. So, now everybody's shape, the shape of their vulva, right? Everybody's shape is unique to them. Everybody, all women, trans and cis, all women, it's unique to them. So anything I say about support of that skin, I can only speak for myself because I only have my skin to work with, right? Other people's vulvas are shaped differently. What works for me might not work for another person. But I have been, because I need support, because I've had, there's a lot of skin down there. As I think I've mentioned this before, my family tends to be overweight. I am not overweight, but I do have to really watch my diet to prevent being overweight, and I do, I'll balloon up easily if I allow myself to become overweight. So I just generally have lots of skin, let's say. Not flabby, flapping around all over the place, but I don't have tight skin on my body. There's some people have like are naturally thin and they just seem to have tight skin on their body. I'm not like that. I've got lots of skin. So once the swelling went down, it's kind of, I don't know. Well, it's floppy. It's flappy. It's aesthetically unpleasant. I don't like it look from the outside. Inside, it's fine. Like the labia minora and the clitoris and urethra and the vaginal cavity all look fantastic. But from the outside, yeah, I don't like the look of it. It's flabby. So just as with somebody who is, say, like they're pregnant and they give birth and then they've got all this extra skin around the middle and they want to reduce it under control, there are garments, there are like skin control garments you can wear postpartum skin control garments that you can wear that give support in this area so that the skin all compresses, like shrinks down evenly and together and like that, right? So I want to do the same thing with my vulva because again, it's all kind of flabby and I want it to decrease nice and even, right? So I went through all of my underwear and just tried all of the different um, uh, um, types of like how they're sewn together, um, and most underwear, the front panel goes down underneath. There might be a seam line going across towards the back, but usually the front panel goes all the way down underneath, and then the gusset will be sewn in on top of it as a different type of cotton material, right? Um, Another one is like thongs, um, which obviously come down even tighter because they, go up the butt crack. I like thongs; they're very comfortable, but I find with anything where the fabric goes all the way down the front or any thongs whatsoever, they tend towards camel toe, and it doesn't look good in jeans. But also it doesn't help with support, and that's what I need the most right now is support. So I went through tried all my different underwear, different styles, like different, like not different makes but different styles of sewing, right? To see what seemed to make the most sense and what didn't, and I found what actually works best for me, and I'm going to show you. And don't worry, this is a brand new pair of underwear that I just bought because once I realized what worked for me, I didn't have that many, so I bought a bunch of new ones, so that I've got lots. And that is where the gusset, which is always some kind of cotton inner layer, and then there's an outer layer, but it's where the whole gusset, like the outer layer and the inner layer, are actually sewn across as a separate piece. So I'm going to show you. This shows with a good contrast. So this is the crotch, okay? And so this is the front, right? So this comes across the front here, and then this goes across the back by the bum, right? So it's a completely separate panel from the front and the back, right? And so what this does is it actually creates, because the tension on the fabric is different on the front of the body, the back of the body, and right in the center, over the vulva, because the tension of the fabric over the body varies in those different places. Being separate panels, the different panels can stretch their own way without being influenced by the rest. Whereas other underwear, it's like the front, as I said, the whole front panel just goes down underneath as one, and that tends to like bunch up in the center, and like you get camel toe and you're always picking it out and whatever. But this actually gives good support. That panel right there actually gives very good support. it just creates a nice cupping shape. There's no camel toe whatsoever, and it's nice even pressure up because the panel is being pulled up from the back and the front. Um, and then the panel stretches out to the sides on its own of its own, shape, and it's comfortable. But most important, it's providing really good support and giving me a really good look of the shape, and yeah, I swear by it now. So until all of that stuff is like all that extra skin has shrunk and everything is into the shape that it's ultimately going to be permanently, this is the kind of underwear I'm going to be wearing going forward. All of them are going to have a completely a standalone gusset panel that's sewn at front and back. So, take it for what it's worth, right? If that seems helpful to someone else, great. And if not, whatever, everyone's body is different. Let's see what else. I'm sitting in my chair, and it's my phone. I still haven't. I'll get to that. But I'm sitting in my chair at my desk in my bedroom. I'm not sitting on the bed like I've been in all the other videos. I'm actually sitting in my chair. So I rebuilt my computer finally. Finally, the desk is cleaned off, and the computer is rebuilt. I need some fine tuning. I need to install a few Python packages, but basically all the major applications are there. So for the next video, it will be the webcam and the proper microphone and OBS doing the capture and all of that, which will be good. I'm tired of using the phone. Gender euphoria. I don't know, shocked, not shocked by how much gender euphoria I've been experiencing. I mean, in retrospect, it makes sense, but literally didn't expect it. Because it's been 19 years, right? Like, I started with an orchiectomy and then hormones 19 years ago. This year, 2025, September will be like 20 years, right, since I started this journey. And so when I went into the bottom surgery, my expectations was that it's primarily cosmetic. It's something I definitely felt like I needed for a sense of completion, but there was no sense of like gripping urgency to get rid of my useless appendage. I didn't want it, didn't need it. I was glad to see it go, but there was no gripping urgency to get rid of it because that all went with the orchiectomy. So it was more, it just seemed like, well, this is about completion, so let's just get it done. And when I was there in Montreal and talking with the other women, they're like in tears, telling about their seeing themselves for the first time after the bandages were off and the stent was out, and like literally seeing themselves for the first time and crying in the shower from pure joy. And I didn't feel that, right? Like going into it, it was all rather utilitarian. And during the experience, it was like, I don't like medical stuff, so it's like, okay, I'm just going to focus all of my attention on just getting through this. And even after I got home, it was like, things going on. Like I had topical infection, and it was dilating 4 times a day, and I was, there would be occasional spotting, would it be like, oh my God, is something going wrong? But no, it's like I was still recovering, and I didn't have any of that moment like that. And I always felt kind of bad because, like, see these other women having this, like, truly moving uh, gender euphoria experience at finally being their correct physical self. And I just wasn't feeling that until the day I actually was able to wear underwear and jeans for the first time, without a pad and all that sort of stuff. And then it felt really amazing. And it's felt really amazing ever since. It's been fantastic. I feel so good about myself, about my body, about my mind, my emotions. Everything just seems to feel so good right now. And I would say it's different, but I would say the intensity is like when I started hormones, because, like, when you start hormones, it's like not when you actually start, because nothing happens when you actually start, but when they really start kicking in and you start having the emotional experiences and stuff like that, like, the 3-4 month mark sort of thing. It's kind of giddy, and it's like, oh my God, this is great. I feel, that's very intense. This is more, not so much less intense, but just complete, which is what I was always aiming for. But complete, like, not just complete physically, but complete emotionally and complete mentally. Like, it all just ties together. And I just, yeah, I don't. I mean, there's no reason why I should be feeling any kind of gender dysphoria right now. But I don't think I have felt this kind of gender euphoria since, again, the beginning of hormones. And it's so peaceful. And, I don't know. It's just good. It's just good in every way. It feels so good. So, yeah. And I've been talking and talking with other women online, like, it's people who are like a year, several years post-op, they're like, oh yeah, 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 I still feel it. I still feel that gender euphoria about myself, about my physical body, and I feel complete, and I feel whole, and you know it's wild. It's amazing. And I didn't expect to feel this. And I do now. And I don't know. It's like I got an extra special prize at the end. It's kind of moving. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know how many more of these updates I'm going to be able to do. I mean, I guess there's always going to be something to say at some point. But, like I said, not much has changed in the last 2 weeks. Because I am basically healed. That one little spot at the bottom, I believe, is shrinking, and I think it's just going to shrink away, and I doubt I'll ever even need any kind of revision. So dilating is literally a stretching exercise, nothing more, no discomfort, no pain. Um, so, yeah, I mean, I don't know that there will be a lot more to say. Um, but it's not going to be the end of the videos because I am now ready, finally. I've only been talking about this for months. I am finally ready to start coding my automated stock trading software. So I have, my work computer, it's rebuilt. I got all the major applications installed. Um, I have to set up the database because I'm using PGSQL. I have to set up the database. And there's some libraries, there's some Python libraries I still have to install, but I mean I can install them as I need them. So it's, yeah. So first steps is I had already started working on a database schema. I'm very picky about database schemas. Just because I've been writing database centric applications for decades. So, like, you know, the code is so secondary to the data. The data is the heart of any application. So, while I've got the block diagram design of the architecture, software architecture, the next steps are getting code going to talk to the brokerage firm, just so that I'm getting used to working with that API, and getting the database schema worked out. Because again, yeah, I'm really picky about schemas. Yeah, so that's kind of like first steps. Schema and some initial code against the Interactive Brokers API. And yes, I guess that's probably what the next video will be about. So there's like 10 people who watch these videos. So I expect there'll be like one person watching them in the future, and that's fine. I don't care. I want to make these videos just so that I get, comfortable being in front of a camera. And as you can tell, these are one-shot videos I'm doing, right? None of the stuff I've done yet has been scripted in any way. But I do want to get comfortable being in front of a camera, talking to, the talking to the camera, talking to you, whoever you are, and so just doing these ad hoc videos as I'm working on my project. I mean, it's good exercise for me. And if anybody watches them, great. And if nobody watches them, that's fine too. I don't really care. The initial 12-part series of the surgery, I mean, that was the important thing because I wanted to document that. But that's all documented now. I will give updates if there are any updates to give, but I'll tell you right now, it is 99.99% sure that the next video I do will be solely about my work on the automated stock trading project. Because I probably will have nothing to say about the bottom surgery stuff. So, yeah. So that's going to be it. Slightly shorter because nothing, I haven't done anything on the project yet. because I just finished building the machine, and yeah, what I had to share wasn't that big of a thing to share. So I think we'll just say ciao until next time. And I imagine maybe like a couple weeks I'll probably do another video. I mean, it depends. It depends on how things go. Um, if I make some decent progress on the schema in the short term, then I will probably make a video sooner because I geek out. I can seriously geek out about database schemas. I am absolutely an RDBM geek. Absolutely, 100%. So, and I'm no expert with Postgres, right? Because most of my professional career I was working with MySQL, uh, just because that's the most popular one in the corporate world. I have built PGSQL databases before, but a handful. Whereas I've built, I can't count. I can't even, probably hundreds, definitely hundreds of MySQL databases and a handful of PGSQL databases. So there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve because PGSQL has so much more functionality than MySQL has. So there's a lot of stuff there that I don't even know what it does, right? So yeah, probably the next video, whenever it is, 2 weeks maybe, it'll probably be me geeking out over databases. Seriously not exciting. Okay, so I love y'all, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.